James, please.
James Atterbury, pastor of Amargosa Christian Fellowship. Let's open this meeting in prayer. O Lord our God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening to conduct the business of our town. You are the giver of every good and perfect gift, and all the resources and money of this town belong to you, because you are the creator of all things. During this meeting, may we speak wisely in the midst of conflict, and be peacemakers rather than those who start fights. We pray that those who speak here would think carefully about what they're going to say before they say it, treating other people with respect as they'd want to be treated. May you grant our town board members wisdom and courtesy toward one another, as those who are given the important task of being good stewards of the resources you have given us. May this meeting be marked by the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which include gentleness, kindness, and love. May this town use its money wisely to equip the employees and volunteers of this town with what they need to carry out the tasks they have been given. Please protect the members of the Nye County Sheriff's Department as they watch over our town, and may you watch over the volunteer fire department members. Lord, throughout this meeting, may our hope be in you, and it is in the name of Jesus Christ and through the Holy Spirit that we ask for these things. Amen.
Thank you, James. Okay, approval of the agenda for August 27th. We will be pulling 5, 6, and 7. All right. General public comment. Up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. Please state and spell your last name. Push the button, Emma, please.
Emma Velador, EMMA, VELADOR. Good evening. I'm kindly requesting that my comments be recorded and added to the minutes. It has been brought to the attention that non-disclosure agreements have been signed by Amargosa Town Board members. It was stated and witnessed by community members that were present at a town board meeting that you signed a non-disclosure agreements with solar data center companies. This violates several NRS codes. We are giving you the opportunity right now to come forward at this moment and acknowledge who you signed the NDAs with, the solar and data center companies. We are requesting the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. You have this opportunity to come forward. If the FOIA comes back that you have signed an NDA and have not publicly addressed it tonight, we will be taking action on this and also placing ads in the newspapers and posting the FOIA information online. Finally, I am here of my own volition because I can see what's occurring. I informed you this, I started to inform you about this around January. I am not the pre-selected town board's incoming side chick to keep the facade going, nor do I get paid privately by any entity. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Please state and spell your last name.
Paul Lemus, L-E-M-U-S. I wanted an opportunity to point out some very important issues. We have that National Conservancy idea or concept that's been approved by this board and then has went on to Nye County on the 5th of August. And the concern that I have is that, the 5th of May was when it occurred. And it went to the Board of County Commissioners for approval from them, which it passed 5-0 on that date. Then on 5/19, Bruce Jabor made comment at the meeting that he was going to pause any further activity associated with the National Conservation Monument, the National Conservation Corridor, associated with any conservative efforts associated with Ash Meadows. Now, we didn't have our public town hall scoping meeting until June 11th. So the problem that we have is that this violates open meeting law. And if we violate open meeting law, then the justification of our rules and laws that are put here to protect the people no longer exist. We already decided at that town hall meeting that there were 6 no's associated with the Conservancy. That was what the community came forward and said, no, we don't want it. There were 3 yeses. There was 1 person that rode the fence. And now here we are back tonight with an item on this agenda for more Conservancy mapping. What I want to know is what part of no don't we understand about the fact that the community already came forward and said we don't want it? And if we don't want it, then we have now gotten behind a tyrannical government that has lost its transparency, has lost its legal form, and we are operating outside the scope of open meeting law. There's a current item right now open at the Attorney General's office for an investigation into these claims. I would suggest that this town board and this community really consider the fact that when an item goes out of the sequence, it is voided. Any further action in that direction only puts our own town board members and our town at risk. We separated in 2011 from Nye County for a reason, so we could be our own elected town board. And we became that. The problem that we have now is if we keep making all these violations, we're kind of opening the door to have them come back in and try to take control of a very valuable angle that we have on all this stuff that's coming down the pipeline. So I would just like to point those facts out today, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Dave Hall, H-A-L-L. I've been listening to a lot of general public comment, if you will, from Pahrump and other areas where people have gotten up and made some comments that were kind of demeaning to the people, I think, in Amargosa Valley, myself included, Jessica, some other folks on the fire department, on the senior center, that we were not involved. We were making plans with all the solar folks, with all the data center folks. We were doing all this other stuff. Let me assure you that we are not. There has been nothing done except talk to those people. They've supported us at our public events. They've supported the senior center, the fire department, certain needs. There's nothing in writing. It's just, a friendly, hey, you know what, we're coming to town. We're glad to help you at this point if you need that help. There's nothing that goes and says, this town has an agreement with any developer at this point at all. And I just want you to know that. I've been working on this for 3 years, and just because we knew they were coming, the government has said, we got this much land we're going to give to developers. You're going to have to deal with it. So we've been trying to deal with all the people that have actually come to us. There's only been a handful. That's because the BLM hasn't even got to the point where they can actually tell these people what they're able to do at this point. So I've been involved in a lot of that stuff also. So I just want to be clear that you know, just be careful when people get up and say stuff. Please come and ask people like myself, lived here for 35 years, Diane, Jack. You know, there's a lot of people out here. Jimmy, we've been here for a lot of years. You know, people in Crystal also. Ask us about, you know, be involved, boots on the ground. You know, don't make a big splash on YouTube or whatever it is that all these people that are, what do you call them, they're advocates for all this other stuff. Please, you know, we've been here, we live here 35 years. A lot of you, longer than me, your family's been here, raised their kids here. And you just need to talk to these people that are on the ground. So I appreciate you listening to me. And, you know, for those folks on the board, I know if you had meetings with the solar people, you're allowed to do that. But you haven't made any agreements, you haven't voted on anything, you haven't done anything that's not correctly being done. So, you know, I appreciate, you know, working with the people from Leeward, Balanced Rock, and, you know, those are the two that really we've worked with. The rest of them haven't even come on board yet, because they never know when they're going to run a power line where they can tie into. That's still 3 years off. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dave. Carol.
Hello, Daryl, D-A-R-Y-L, Wade, W-A-D-E. Am I overloading your?
No, I just want to make sure it's sorry.
In the audience, there's people up here that know the answer. So in the audience, who knows the answer to how many acre feet one of these pivots out here uses per year? Who knows how many acre feet? Okay, what's your answer?
My name's Jay Wall. I've farmed out here for 20 years. State engineer says you allow 5 acre feet per pivot. So on 100 acre pivot, 125 acre pivot, it's about 625 acre feet.
Exactly.
But they go over that.
It's a plus and minus.
That's what the government allows. I tell you what, it's more than that goes on the ground.
Oh, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. A lot of the discussion about the data centers that could come in or might come in or maybe are coming in, there was a lot of people worried about the water usage in those. There's a lot of different kinds of data centers. Some of them don't even use water. Some of them use air. What we need to do is find out which kind of data center, and like the one in Pahrump, it uses 300 acre feet for a 900 acre data center. That's less than half of what one of these pivots out here is pulling out of our ground. So just to make it so that the people know, there's no reason to be all, oh my God, they're going to drain our aquifer. No, statistics show. And there's a lot of them that can back that up. And this young man right here, he can tell us. He just did. There is more, but there's also less on certain days. So as far as these data centers, I don't have a problem with it because they're not going to drain the water. Noise is something we can write in if we approve them. Noise is something we can write in. Also lighting. We can say we don't want lights. We don't want it to affect our night sky. And if they don't want to go along with that, well then we don't have to allow them. So I just wanted to bring a few points of attention to people so that when you're out in the valley and you hear people, oh my God, they're going to drain the aquifer, you have some kind of an idea what you can tell them. And all of this information I discovered in 1 hour of searching government websites. It's factual data, not pie in the sky, made up rumors. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Derek. Anybody else for public comment? Chris Dancy. Please state and spell your last name.
Good evening. My name is Chris Dancy. Spell my last name D-A-N-C-Y. I work for Balanced Rock Power, and we're proposing the conversion of the Ponderosa Dairy to a solar generation facility. I'd like to make a request for a special town board meeting on September 15th to present a community benefits agreement and vote upon the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And we will do that. Okay, thank you.
What was that date?
September 15th, probably 6:30. We've got a conflict with a volleyball game, so 6:30. Victor.
Yes.
Welcome, Steve. Spell your last name.
Yeah, my name is Victor Fuentes, Fuentes. And I agree with the gentleman who spoke before about this road guy. You know, the water in Amargosa, we have plenty of water over here. And the majority of the company come to Amargosa to do the development or whatever. They use the water that have been already issued to Amargosa because the water rights in Amargosa are already on the private sector hand. You know what I mean? So when they come over here, then people from here sell the water right to them, you know. So in Beatty, not too long ago, they have a whole bunch of water rights that they haven't been using, and the engineer said you have to use it or you're going to lose it, because that's how it is, okay? And so they put it in the auction, and the mine bought those water, a whole bunch of water rights that they have. And so, you know, we have people who come over here to Amargosa and scare us, and they use a scare tactic, you know, to divide us, to steal from us, you know, and especially by using the water, you know. So no new water rights have been issued to the company who have come to Amargosa in the last few years. You know, it's the water that is already here at the private hands who are sold to those people. So they're not using more water. They're using the water that have already been issued by the state engineer, and it's approved because that water is abused. Okay, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. All right? So don't allow anybody, the environmentalists, come over here, tell you that the river is dying, the river this and that, it's in danger. That's not true. Okay? That is a scare tactic to manipulate our mind. Remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Anybody else for public comment? Annette.
Annette Fuentes, Fuentes. I would like to have a clarification. Is this Ash Meadows Conservancy Conservation Area or Amargosa Conservation Area? I keep hearing both.
It's Ash Meadows Conservation, National Conservation Area. That's the name of it. Yeah.
Right. So it's not Amargosa. No. Okay. And also, I would like to say there's a rumor going around about our property being for sale in Ash Meadows. The property is for sale in Ash Meadows, but people are saying that once we're out of there, we have no right to comment. Hence the word national. So if our property sells, I'll still be commenting. Thank you.
Everybody has a right to comment, no matter who they are. Anybody else? Okay, seeing no further public comment, I'm going to close public comment. Okay, reports. Town office report. Mike?
Okay, our total vouchers for the month of August were $29,616.62. The reason for that is we had a couple big HVAC bills that had to be replaced. We had to rebuild this one up here and the one down at the clinic. So we were able to pay for those out of different accounts. So the non-26101 vouchers were $11,998, and our net vouchers were $17,617.95. That's right in line with our normal budget. And just as a side note, I was checking our expenditures for the year just ended June 30th, and we were under budget also at that time. So we should have another positive year as long as the revenue comes in and so forth. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the total vouchers for $29,616.95. 1662.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And I will call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Okay. Fire Department report. Jess.
IEO, Jessica Kadamas Wallflower, KADRMAS-WALTHOUR. I'm here with your fire department report. It's going to be crazy short this month. For this month, we only had 6 total calls, 2 fires and 4 medical calls. We have no equipment updates at this time, no personnel updates at this time, and our only closing remark is that we're continuing to try our best to provide safe and effective emergency response to the valley.
And that you do. Thank you very much for everything you guys do.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay. Planning Committee. Labrador.
She's always making me look bad. L-A-B-O-S-S-I-E-R-E. I am not going to be short. I did. L-A-B-O-S-S-I-E-R-E.
Put it up closer to your mouth.
Closer? Closer?
Push it up.
Hello?
There you go. There you go.
Just so I don't have to keep repeating myself every friggin' day. The Amargosa Planning Committee we serve at the discretion of these guys. We're volunteers. We're the lowest type of committee in Nevada. We have no budget. We have nothing that we're in charge of. We're just an advisory committee. Mostly our job is to gather information, sometimes decide what it means, tell these guys, and then they decide on their own what it means. That's our job. That's it. We're not like front planning. We don't tell people where to build their houses. None of that crap. So calling me and complaining ain't a solution, okay? I lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
Senior moment.
Exactly. Getting older. Exactly. So we run a very informal meeting. We do that on purpose so that people feel like they can talk. It's more of a round table thing where everybody gets to talk. We did a 2.5-hour meeting last week. It definitely didn't feel like that at the time until I got in the car to go home. We wrote down everything that everybody said that was relatively important, not what books they read and stuff like that, but and that's all we did. There's no fancy ordinance already written up that I can send you in the email, none of this stuff. Someday there might be. So years ago, these guys used to get an ordinance from somewhere else, then they'd bring it here and throw it out on the floor, and we'd nitpick it to death, and it would never happen because it wasn't written for us. So this time, they took a bunch of ordinances, they sent them to us first to look at and decide if there was stuff on there that we wanted or was totally out the window, and then they're going to write it up. And then it'll come to you guys, if they even decide to do it. You know, nothing's happened yet, right? And it irritates me that just because people don't want something, they don't help. I personally don't want this ordinance, but I am not going to not help them write it so that we don't get screwed if it passes, right? This is our community. We should all be fighting to make sure we don't get screwed over. So, I forgot what else I was going to say, but it was obviously important. Did you have any questions about Trevor's list?
I think Brenda does.
No, I'm sorry, I was just surprised it wasn't incorporated into the ordinance, that's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's not us. Mike might someday write an ordinance, he might not. He doesn't know at this point, you know, right? He could eventually decide it's a waste of time. But, so, another thing I want to tell you guys is we can pass an ordinance, but it has to be more restrictive than the people above us. So say we pass an ordinance, you have to smog your car, we have to smog our car. If Nye County passes an ordinance that we have to smog our car, we cannot pass an ordinance that we do not smog our cars. It doesn't work that way. If Nevada passes an ordinance that you have to smog your car, Nye County can't pass an ordinance to not smog their car, neither can we. If the federal government passes an ordinance we have to smog our car, the state can't pass an ordinance that we don't have to smog our cars, nor can Nye County, nor can us. People confuse a town elected board with a free city. We're not a free city. We're not allowed to do whatever the hell we want. There's only one city in this country that doesn't have to follow some states' rules, and that's Washington, D.C., and we dang sure don't want to be them. We are part of Nye County. Any rule passed in Nye County that is for Nye County, not for Pahrump, but for Nye County, isn't for us. It's us too. Any Nevada law, it's us too. Being a town elected board does not give us the right to pass a law that says we don't have to follow it. So quit calling me and asking for crap that we can't do. And I can't do anything anyways. Done?
I have a question. Your buddy? The comprehensive area plan.
Okay.
Why we did the comprehensive area plan? We worked on it for over a year, we completed it. It never got updated. There's still, we're right now publishing the old version of the comprehensive area plan, which says that our dairy has 25 employees. It's not 25 employees. What I'm saying is I'm looking at your notes here from the planning committee meeting. I'm seeing Diana's comment about the vision statement for the area plan. We already have a mission statement area plan. It's adopted by us, and it's already adopted by Nye County as part of our comprehensive area plan. But, you know, I think if we had those updates and it was provided to the public, people wouldn't wonder what they are. They would be able to see what our mission statements are.
Okay, so Nye County is not our friend. All you people that remember when we did not have 5 people sitting up here and that office was a changing thing, how many potholes were on Farm Road? It was like a whack-a-mole. You couldn't go down that road at 25 miles an hour unless you're in a Chevy truck commercial. We don't have a single pothole on that road, right? It's because when we've got 5 people sitting up here, Nye County cannot ignore us. They have to pay attention to us. But when we're fighting amongst ourselves, they don't give a crap about us because they know we're all too busy in here arguing amongst ourselves and they just run roughshod over us. I'm tired of seeing our road crew in Pahrump, our road crew in Beatty. Our gas stations are paying those guys a salary. We should have control over where they work. I don't mind them going places because they are the best road crew that Nye County has, and I can understand them sending them, but I never see Nye County extra road crews from somewhere else out here helping them, right? We need 5 people up here, and we need us to support them, even when we don't agree with what the hell they're doing. It is much easier to show them how to do it right than to tell somebody how to do something, because they're not going to listen. Nobody listens when you tell them how to do what they're doing. You got to show them, do it right, and then maybe they'll learn. Not always, but maybe. These guys don't get paid either. The only person in here getting paid is that poor lady over there behind that computer. And if you're going to send out an email stating that somebody said something, go back to the video before you write your email, watch that video in the comfort of your own home, listen carefully, and make sure you heard what you thought you heard. It is hard to hear in this room with all these people talking, right? And there's a lot of emotion in here, so you don't always hear what you think you're hearing. You know, these are our neighbors, man. This is one of the best places in the country to live. There are not this many friendly people in some huge-ass cities. And we're surrounded by them. And I'm really tired of people calling me and saying, this person's doing something evil, we need to stop them. No, there is no evil in this town. There might be people that don't know what they're doing, but there is no evil. We are all good people. We just, if anybody agrees with you all the time, they're pandering. My grandfather used to say that. No matter how good you think somebody is, if they always agree with you, they're pandering to you. So you have no idea what they're truly thinking. You should argue with everybody about something. Can I stop now?
You do. Thank you. Thank you, Lev. Okay, next up. Tourism and economic.
Yeah, we are making progress. The iQuest, they've got their 2 buildings up, and we're waiting on NDOT to give us the permits so we can pull the 3-phase power across 373. Then they're going to start on their other 2 buildings. And then hopefully within about 6 weeks, they will be hiring. And so that's going pretty well. So you can see the trucking company's got their building up. They're proceeding, dealing with Nye County on a few issues. I had one other call this week affiliated with green energy solar stuff, and just had a general conversation with them. So that part's going pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Senior Center report, Dave.
Dave Hall, H-A-L-L, with the senior report for August of 2026. You all have a copy of it. I left some back there, and it shows us our meals served. It was around almost 500 for July, so we're really busy, and we had quite a few homebound, home-delivered meals, and hopefully, now that the weather's cooling off, we'll have more folks coming in for lunch and breakfast. But we really have had good turnouts all month long, so looking forward to another good month in August. Grants, 2027 grant applications for congregate and home delivered. They're still sitting out there on somebody's desk. So hopefully we'll hear something within a month or two. As I told you in previous meetings, there's no change from this year's grants to next year's grants. There's been, a lot of conversation about, we had some people come and said, hey, we got to feed people better. And we said, yeah, we need to feed people better, and we need to have more money to feed them better. And the lady said, well, here's my brochure, and I got to go visit Beatty, so I'll be back. So that's kind of the lip service you get from some of these people. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do until we can apply next year for, which is a new grant cycle. We'll take it the next 2 years. We'll be able to probably do a little bit better, hopefully, because we've shown that we've got more congregate and more home delivered. So anyway, one thing we've been able to do, and let's see, I put this somewhere in here. Oh yeah, as a note. The monthly menu, you'll see that there's some new items we've added, and that's the result of the grant that we got for $15,000 from SCAN, which is, it's really not the Division of Aging facility or administrative thing in Nevada. It's in California, but they serve, it's like I'll explain that, Carolyn. So,
Is that a California grant?
The SCAN grant, it was based on just providing, it's like for elder care, so it's more of a health care thing where they try to make sure that elderly people get better care, better food, so on. So it's not a division of aging more than it's a health care.
Doesn't have all the governors in it.
Yeah, it's a health care issue. So, but anyway, we did get a grant. We'll be able to vary our menu a little bit more. You notice our menu, we say it's, certified by Division of Aging. On some of those, you'll see that it's not. Doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that they have certain requirements that we have to do every week. Some we don't. So some of those you'll see where we comply with those. The rest will have some little bit different menu opportunities that we can spend a little bit more money on. So that's a good thing. As far as building and vehicles, the Explorer received its warranty service. And, that's a 3 or 4 day thing now where you got a brand new vehicle and the recalls are more than the oil change. But anyway, got that all taken care of. We do have an additional refrigerator we bought when we had in the original our senior center in the kitchen. It went bad about 6 months ago. Had it repaired. It was a $900 repair from some folks, and it lasted another 3 months, and it went out again. So after we looked at the cost, it was better to just buy a new one. So now we have like 2 brand new refrigerators. We got the first one on a grant from 3 Square, and now we have this one, so we should be in pretty good shape. So got that taken care of. Commodity-wise, we got 104 families participated in the last distribution. Again, it's 9 to 11, second Monday of the month. The LDS Church has brought their quarterly distribution items, so our pantries is pretty full right now. If anybody needs stuff during the month, it's not just a 1 day thing. We're there 4 days a week, and by a phone call, we can be there anytime. So we got plenty of stuff. We did get some information from 3 Square. They've got their local conference coming up on the 18th in Vegas, so we'll attend that. And here they get to, all the people that are management, if you will, the people that do the paperwork and the distribution. A couple people go from each site, and they get together and share ideas. So that'll be on the 18th. Plus, I got a note today that there's a new program that's called Farm Fresh, and what they've tried to do is go out to all the local farmers within the area and get more produce in that may be going to waste because they can't find homes for them. So hopefully we'll have more fresh produce, and you know, our last distribution we had some really good produce. So I'm hoping we'll have more of that as we go along throughout the finish up the summer and into fall. Thrift store, still got pizzas available every Tuesday and Thursday. All I got to do is call in and order your pizzas. They're really good, and it's been a pretty good program so far. We're going to keep it up probably for another month at least. Next board meeting will be September 15th at 9:30 a.m. and it's open to anybody who would like to come. We actually had 3 visitors at our last meeting. So, any comments from the board? Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you. Okay. Now, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or approve, deny the quote from Beatty Graphics to update the website. The cost is $3,500, and if you want to see a sample of it, the hyperlink is in there in the agenda. Mike?
Yeah, it's
$3,400. What did I say?
35.
Oh,
So it's
$3,400. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what was done, the link is in the agenda. And she created a new homepage, a calendar page, agendas and minutes, so that you can see what she had in mind. And the link is right there. That's a sample that I looked at a number of times. There's some photos that got to change that aren't of Amargosa, they're from somebody else. So I don't think we've had any upgrades to that since we put it together 10 years ago or so. So it's definitely need for that. If there's any other changes, we can sure make those. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the expenditure to Beatty Graphics for $3,400 for the update of our website.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I'll open this up for public comment. Anybody for public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm closing public comment. And call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Richard, I didn't hear you. Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay, 5-0. All right, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or approve or deny request from Death Valley Observatories for the town of Amargosa Valley to approve the application for the international certification through Dark Skies International. Francisco, would you like to come up, please? I've been looking forward to this. Francisco Silva, people, this man is a NASA ambassador.
Francisco Silva, hi everyone.
Please spell your last name, Francisco.
S-I-L-V-A, Silva. I'm going to talk a little about...
You're going to have to speak up.
Hi.
There you go.
Yeah, no problem. I am going to try to, again, this today, trying to understand, make everyone understand the goal. The goal is to make this town protected from any future light pollution, excessive noises, not only for the good of the environment, but for the good also of all of us, the people. Okay? At the end of the day, we live in the most darkest place in the American continent. I want you to understand that. You need to go to Canada, United States continental. This is the darkest place in the continent of the dark America. We can go from Death Valley in California all the way to Utah. and this is the darkest area left behind. We have one of the most pristine skies everywhere in the continent, okay? Your humidity is 0, yay! And that is great for astronomy. We in Nevada have the first telescope farm, allowing people to send telescopes from all over the world. Right now we have more than 70 customers that have sent telescopes from Argentina, Chile, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Canada, Texas, Arizona, Florida. Just to give you an idea, these people are investing thousands of dollars in equipment to send it to this little town in the middle of nowhere, okay? And it's because you have one of the best skies in North America. Now, keeping that in mind, this is also a great opportunity for bed and breakfast, doing astronomy nights, doing astroastronomy events to show people to come here and see the Milky Way. Anyone that lives in any city the size of Toronto, they cannot see the Milky Way, okay? That is, for most of the people, even alien flying around. I am not making that around. If you remember the news back in the days when LA get power off, people was calling the police saying, the aliens are coming, I can see the stars in the sky. Okay? And that was just the Milky Way, just letting you know how much we are losing connection to the Mother Nature. And we should, as a community, keep protecting this resource that we are not giving the value that we have. Okay? So keeping that in mind, I have some beautiful photos if anyone wants to see it from our telescopes. Yes. So if you give me a second, I will connect over there.
Please, yes.
Or does anyone have a question?
Anybody have a question for Francisco?
Okay.
Where is this leading to?
What do you mean?
What are you asking us for?
I am asking to prove a committee to help building the case to prove that the town is at that town. That means that in the future, is, for example, a data center or a big corporation or anyone want to put too much light pollution or too much noise pollution, we cannot do it.
Right.
Because
what about the existing businesses that already have lights now? How's that going to affect them?
So very few of you have enough light to even register the system.
Yeah.
So very few of you will be, no, I have drive around, I have not seen one of you that be affected. I cannot promise because I did not go home by home, and that is part of the community. The community will make that valoration, say how many houses are inside or outside, but really, right now the town will not be affected for the line that you already have. Very few. The only people that will be worried about is the gas station.
Well, I disagree. I think anybody who stands for the United States Constitution would disagree.
Why?
Because these things will come with ordinances later that are law.
Yes.
And then if you guys were to attack somebody who already has lights existing there now,
yeah,
that's against our Fourth Amendment. No ex post facto law shall be attained. That's a law that's tainted. So I'm just concerned about the people who are already existing that might become affected, and then later on this has an adverse effect on their situation.
Okay.
Which I am also a gas station owner, by the way. So
I understand.
I'm concerned because I kind of like to put my life, get customers what I can get.
Yes.
Since, you know, some people in the town have decided to blacklist me. I've had to make my own business and make my own money. And since then, I'm a little concerned with that. I'd like to have my open sign. I'd like to have Long Street Casino have its lights. I like the lights that are down on the road over here on Mecca and Annville. I like our light outside of here, which is a bright LED light. You know, I think that those lights are kind of cool for the town, actually. But I want to see your presentation. I just think that this is going to lead into more law and regulation for us. And I'm not sure if I'm willing to do that, not with the way that things have been going in the last few events and things that have been concept ideas that have come up in the way they've been sequenced as far as our open meeting law is concerned. So I'm just concerned, but I want to hear what you have to say.
So the point I am trying to make here is I am not in one way or another saying I am coming here with a law that I want to apply to everybody. Right. What I am saying is I want to open a community that will study who will be a community or committee. Second one. Second community. That will study the light pollution levels in the town right now. Okay. See who and who is not applied in that level of pollution. Okay?
Is this your real name?
What do you mean?
The name you introduced yourself. Is that your real name?
Yes.
How do you not know the spelling of your own last name?
I have a black moment.
All right, Francisco, why don't you set up the presentation?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
No, my point, what I want you to understand, we go to study the case before. We are not forcing anyone to do anything. This go to process of discussion, seeing who is affected and who is not, and all those things. It's not something, the most important part is to keep the town how it is now. I am not pushing to make it darker. I am saying to keep the darkness that is now. To see what I mean.
Yeah, but we got a lot of people saying all these things are important.
Yes.
But the most important thing is the endangered people of our valley. So anything that infringes on that, I'm going to be against it, just so you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't you set up for the presentation and we'll shut the lights down.
1 second.
I was just going to say that it doesn't really, I have a job and we job and it's the same thing. It's about protecting the sky. And then usually all they're going to ask you to do is cover your light. You know you love this light right here. Great. We'll just cover it. What is it?
Right.
Shielded.
Shield. That's all. This is not anything that's corporate or anything else like that. This is, I mean, if you right, we can see the Milky Way.
Well, that could be debated either way, I believe. But yes, I see your side. It could be debated either way, but yeah, I see your side.
Yeah, but it really isn't a big corporate. This is something that's very special, and this town really does.
Something that Amargosa's been looking at for years, but the application is quite extensive. So let's look at the presentation and,
Public comment? Maybe she wants to make public comment.
well, let's do the presentation first,
Okay.
as planned. Yeah, thanks, Jessica, for killing the lights. Appreciate it.
All these photos has been taken here in Amargosa, okay? From the test value
Francisco,
server.
I'm going to give you this microphone. Can we kill that?
¿Cuánto? Ya está. Are we ready? Wow. So, this is the surface of the moon. This is the size of 1 quarter. We are looking what a quarter from your arm length looks like of the moon. And I want you to see how beautiful we can do that magnification. It's almost like you're walking. This is another photo This is a photo of the M81 and Leo triplets. You see all this dust around in the middle? That's interstellar dust. Look at all the details that you can see on these galaxies. These galaxies are really, really far away. Any guesses? No? We are talking about more than billions of years. And we can see it like this. So, in any moment that you, for example, go and see, what the goal of this is to show you that these photos are only possible for the amazing skies that you have here. You will not be able to take this photo anywhere around, for example, south of Las Vegas. You will not be able to take these photos in Tahoe, for example. Those are other places in the earth, okay? You can feel, you can see all the different details and filaments of that nebula over here. This is a nebula, the leftover of a dark star that exploded billions of years ago. Here is the main explosion, and this is all interstellar wind moving all this gas around. We have here another dead star. This is the empty, cold part, the coldest part of the area of the explosion, this one over here. And you can see how it's pushing all the gas through that area. And there we have another beautiful cloud of death bodies stars. All these little stars that you see here are new stars getting born in this massive cloud. This massive cloud is several times our solar system, just to give you a context of sizes. This is the start of a new star. So all the cloud is the leftover of a big explosion, supernova, and already a new star is being born in the leftover of that explosion. And this is a photo to see all the interstellar of gas and dust in the empty space. To take this photo, it has been needed 3 days, or 3 nights to be more precise, to get it here. And that is a galaxy, 2 times bigger than ours. Here we have the next one. This is another star that has been on the nuclear fusions of a star here in the center. And the leftover of another big dead star. This is just the center of the Milky Way. Just looking at the center of the Milky Way, this is what you see through the telescope. Millions and millions of stars. This is our own galaxy. Now we are looking inside right now. And this is the leftover called the heart. I hope you say the heart, maybe. Here we have the element. You can see the explosion from the center of the heart and all the leftover of that explosion is right there. This is from here to here is 7 years at the speed of light. And here, this is the tail of a comet This happened about 35 days ago. It was a comet that officially was not visible, but this is what the dark sky allows us to see. We can see the different filaments coming out of the comet. And a beautiful cloud, we have cloud everywhere. And this is from the cameras on the ground, looking up, not through the telescope. That is the view from the ground in the farm. And that was a comet going through the camera at the same time. And this one is the last one. We have a beautiful dark nebula, which is the beginning of a baby star in the sun. By the way, that baby star is 3 times of sun size. Yeah, it's a baby star. It's just a star. That will be all.
Yes, please. I'm going to vote for public comment. Gorgeous, Francisco. Thank
My
you.
name is Brandon Schmidt, SCHMIDT. So I have a little campground here in Amargosa, my wife and I do. I reached out to the Las Vegas Astronomy Association or something. They set me up with Francisco, so like 2 weeks ago, he came out and did a presentation for our guests who are from all over the world. It was amazing, and what we have here is spectacular. People come here to see our dark skies, they stay with us. When they stay, they say, where do we go to dinner, where do we get gas? They ask all these things, they spend all their money, and they leave, they have a good experience. This is what we need here. We need people coming in, spending their money with us, with tourism, and having a recognized dark sky would be really helpful and important in protecting it. I think it's critical, and so I'm in support of it. I think it would be great. And I think Francisco, I think it was difficult for some of you guys to understand him, but for our guests, which is like 75% of them are international, he was perfect, exactly what they needed, and I think it would be an awesome addition here. So, that's it.
Thank you, Brandon. Cindy, come on up. Come on up, Cindy. Oh, Lab, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wow, so you like Cindy more than me.
Spell your last name.
Lavosssiere. I'm going to throw some history at you guys. In the early 1960s, they built an observatory on Palomar Mountain in San Diego. At that time, there was a dairy in Mission Valley. There was nothing pretty much north of the 8. They passed a dark sky ordinance for that observatory. It does not stop construction, right? It just tells them how they have to build, right? They got different types of street lights down there, right? And everybody says the reason our airport closes at 11 o'clock at night is because people live downtown. No, they don't give a crap about the people who live downtown. Closes at 11 o'clock at night because of the observatory. Can't have the lights on at the airport. So a dark sky protection for us would protect that, And as long as it's for everybody, it's not zoning. It's the same rule for everybody, and the people coming here know it's there, and they can build around it. They will build around it, because, just go to northern San Diego. They've built around one there.
Yeah, very good. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, good night. Go rest your leg. Cindy, come on now. Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else for public comment? Jessica.
Jessica Catermas, KADRMAS-WALTHOUR. Okay, I wasn't really planning on getting up here at all. I was going to do my report and leave. But I think this dark skies thing is actually a very good thing for us. This valley has always been champagne air and $1 million sunsets. It's been like that ever since I was a kid. And I think that what we get to see from our back porch is a beautiful thing that nobody else gets to see anywhere else. And the fact that this observatory wants to come and take super cool pictures, I mean, I'm a space person, and I tattooed it on my leg. I like space. I think those pictures are cool as hell.
Yeah.
So I really think that we should have it. I think we should have the dark skies ordinance. I think we should have the observatory, and I think that we should welcome in more things of this kind of caliber into the valley. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Anybody else? Huh? Come on up, yeah. Thank you. I'm from San Diego too, so I get it, yeah.
Catherine Wright.
Oh, push the button, Catherine.
Catherine Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. I just wanted to add to Jessica, it brings the right people into Amargosa, it brings educated people into Amargosa, it brings tourists that are environmentally minded, that care. It also establishes a reputation that is, I think, of a higher caliber for our town than just, coming to an Airbnb and partying in the desert. This just establishes research, if we can, and education. I think it would be good for the children of the school. So I think it establishes an idea or a platform for our town that's very, very positive.
Thank you, Catherine. Anybody else?
I already talked, but I'd like to say something.
Okay, get up at the podium, please.
Paul Lemus, L-E-M-U-S. Just here, just in a basic quick Google search, it says, no, the town of Amargosa Valley cannot independently pass or enforce a restrictive night sky lighting ordinance. We are registered under NRS 269, an unincorporated town. Legislative authority lies within Nye County. So it's good to start this, of course, and present it, but at the end of the day, if we are going to go this direction, it's going to have to go through Nye County before it's finalized. And I also care a lot about the community. Unfortunately, I care more about Earth than what's going on out there. So maybe that's a difference of opinion, but thank you.
Anybody else? Jimmy.
Jimmy Thomas, Thomas. I think dark skies is a wonderful idea. Nobody's trying to stop you from getting light fall. They just want you to direct it downward instead of upward. And in answer to your NRS 269, this town, there are certain ordinances that this town board can pass and can enforce. Any ordinance that they ordain is supporting public health and safety, we can pass in effect. And we can pass an ordinance for public health and safety, limiting the amount of light you put out.
We can also not pass it. Yeah.
Well, you take your stuff. If you want to be, all I hear from you, Paul, and I don't dislike you or anything. I don't have anything against you. But all I ever hear about you is you're against the town board. No matter who's on the town board, what they're doing, or anything else, from 2017, when I was on there, that's what you were doing. You were against the town board, like you think somebody's trying to pick on you. Nobody's picking on you.
Okay, well then why
But you quit picking on us.
Let's
subject to the agenda item instead of attacking.
Okay, stop, please.
How about that shit, mate? Because I was a Navy too. I'm just like you. I fought for
Okay, please, everybody. Okay. Okay. Stop. Okay, having said that, I'm going to close public comment. Okay. Yeah, I know that the application is quite extensive. You want to talk about that, Mike?
So the application is, and the list of things to do are actually a total of 3 pages. It's very extensive on getting started and so forth. It will probably take typically 1 to 3 years from the initial inquiry to get the thing started. So I would like to make a motion that we at least start the application process. And I will be, I'll email a copy of this out because it looks like we need to form a small committee to get it started. And I would like to make a motion that we at least start the process to be a part of the Dark Sky community. There are other, Boulder City and a couple other towns in southern Nevada are already parts of it. And we could kind of piggyback with them and see how it goes. So I'd like to at least start the process.
Okay, can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay. I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you, Francisco. I was out there. It is completely amazing what you've put together and where it is. I mean, you'd never know it was there. And it's just amazing. And they do some events and they bring in with the children. He's been working with Clark County as well as Nye County for many years. And like I said, he's an ambassador for NASA. So we're really privileged to have you here. Okay, number 10, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or approve and deny request for Fish and Wildlife Service to issue a letter of support for a grant to provide funding for land acquisition in Ash Meadows.
Wait, you didn't take a vote on that last one.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Passed it?
Yes, it's for the application. Okay.
It's just for the application.
Krista and Shannon, thank you.
Good evening. Good on the mic? My name is Shannon Hearn, H-U-R-N. I'm the manager at Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, and I work for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Thank you for time on the agenda today. We are asking for your consideration to provide a letter of support for Fish and Wildlife Service to submit a land acquisition grant. The Fish and Wildlife Service is requesting $900,000 in funding through the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act. The funding will allow Fish and Wildlife Service to acquire 18.12-acre parcels currently owned by the Conservation Fund. The parcel is the former KMI ZLA property purchased by the Conservation Fund in early 2026. It's one of 6 privately owned parcels remaining within Ash Meadows National Wildlife Boundary. The acquisition would support the long-term management by the refuge. It's a property that includes riparian habitat and wetlands that are connected to several refuge springs. It's critical habitat for the endangered Ash Meadows Amargosa cupfish. It also has multiple ESA-listed plants. So very critical to our management. Thank you for your consideration. Krista is here with me, and we're happy to provide more information if we can.
Thank you. Krista, do you have anything to say?
Just here for questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's open it up for public comment.
Ed Goodhart, spelling the last name Goedhart. In regards to this 18.5-acre parcel, I actually assisted in the remediation and reclamation of that site to get it suitable for acquisition. But I was a little bit disappointed because in doing that, we had to remove some equipment we couldn't bring through California. And so we used our trucks to go down to Ash Meadows Road, Spring Meadow Mountain Road, very slowly, about 15 to 20 miles an hour. We had officials from Ash Meadows tell our drivers that they would impound the vehicles and have them arrested in direct violation of an Ash Meadows agreement signed by the Deputy Director of Fish and Wildlife Services dated 1988, signed by all 5 members of that then Nye County Board of Commissioners. It was disappointing to me, so I called up someone at the refuge, and they said, well, that was a long time ago, and we're not worried about it, and we got a big legal fund, so we'll see you in court. So just remember this, We're dealing with federally unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats. I'm not against this, I'm just telling you, these are the things that happen when you invite the federal government in your backyard. And I was a person, part of the group, reclaiming and doing reclamation on that job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Krista? Or Shannon, one of you.
Shannon Hearn, HURN again. Well, thank you for that comment. You know, I don't think that was me that you talked to. I'm actually pretty certain of that, and I apologize that that occurred. I would like to have a conversation with you or any community member that would like to use the roads on Ash Meadows Wildlife Refuge, because we can support that use through a permit. But what we really are looking at when you make those requests is we have 50,000 visitors a year, and can we safely do that across our road system? And then through the special use permit, it would allow us to put some restrictions on it. And we really, I mean, I appreciate this, that you say you went that slow. We don't typically see that. We are responsible for all our own road maintenance. So we do have our own graders and those kind of things, and we do see impacts from commercial use on that. So we just want to have a conversation if we are going to have commercial activity on there, and we can have it through special use permit. Does that help? Yeah, I will agree that I haven't looked at that agreement when KMI was asking for commercial folks through, and I prefer going through a permit process and a conversation directly before that activity versus just us all interpreting what that agreement may or may not mean.
It specifically does not require
I hear that is your interpretation. I have my own.
Anybody, thank you, Shannon. Anybody else for public comment? Oh, I'm sorry, Connie. Wave it down, wave it down.
I've been standing over there.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Connie, pull it down. There you go.
I know. My name is Connie Thompson, last name Thompson. I'm not really for this because I have, it's just like he said, back in the days in the 80s, they started doing restrictions. Sorry to say this to you and everything. I had horses, and they turned around and told us you can't even go back there with horses. And we were just riding. Horses are natural, you know. They're not going to destroy anything, the dirt or anything like that. So, and then, not only that, but, okay, you want to buy land out there? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, it's a grant to purchase it.
So, okay, you buy this land, but you're going to put restrictions on it, and also like you did with the others, where you run around. There are springs that we used to go to and everything. They cut the roads off and said we can't go there anymore. And this was NCA back then. And so, and then here we are, we're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be cutting off. But back there, you're talking about, okay, like the natural things, the wildlife. And back there was lots of vegetation, food, and for all the migration and everything that was going through. There was a lot more wildlife out there. Now it's just desert and bushes, except for your pupfish and, you know, a couple little creatures running around with that. So what are you going to do to help the migration? Because all the reservoirs are drying, the Crystal Lake is drying, we don't have the water out there. If there's a fire out there, because like I have to apologize to Sherry because she did say there was a helicopter out there. When Ash Meadows had a fire out there, they used the helicopter to dip into the reservoirs and the pool and all that back then. But now, it's all dried up. One fire is going to take everything out. And so I'm just not ready for this. I'm sorry.
S-E-A-M-U-S. I own multiple properties in Amargosa Valley, and I've been here for over 11 years as a property owner. What I'd like to say is I'm also a licensed real estate agent, and I do continuing education every year, several hours of contract law, and also Nevada legal. So although I'm not an attorney by all means, I know the difference between breach of contract or not. And that agreement that Mr. Goodhart had brought up is absolutely in violation by Fish and Wildlife, period. The fish numbers in the count is down. The pupfish thing didn't work. The black beetle, the turtle, the tortoises, they're all dying every time those drains and those ponds get siphoned out and dumped into the desert. Okay? You guys have become the hand that's doing the damage to our reservoirs and our public land. Unfortunately, we've asked several times for communication. Today I reached out and left my number to try and speak to you again in regards to this. I'm concerned. I'm a resident in that area. The last thing I want to do is fund you to start acquiring properties around me or around any of my properties that are around my area. So I not only have mine, but I also have 9 listings for other clients. I have properties that people have purchased recently that I've represented them professionally as a licensed real estate agent. And I'm here to stand up for their property rights. And I think the people's voice needs to be heard. We know about the little fish, but it's everything from the fish to our water to the aliens in Jupiter, right? Right here, guys, let's focus on this right here. Amargosa Valley, let's consider our areas, our animals, our other turtles, those are all endangered species. We shouldn't just say the pupfish. What is the count at now? We were told at a public meeting that the count is down over 1,600% from what the pupfish were. Is that true, or is that just a rumor?
So there are 4 species of fish on refuge. I think you're referring to Devil's Hole pupfish. That one is found on National Park Service property. I think that's the one you're referring to.
No, I'm just referring to every time you dump it, all the little ones that recharge through the spring are on the ground dying. We've went over, we've videoed, we've taken photographs of it, and there's turtles, there's little crawdads, there's mosquito fish, there's the pupfish with the bigger head, they're flopping around dying on the ground. I just don't understand how that's saving anything other than taking the land and using an excuse to take the land from our public lands, which belongs to the people of Nevada. It's been paid for all this time by our taxes, and I don't see a benefit. So for me personally, I would say a hard no. I wouldn't like to do that, and I think also it'd be selective improvement if we were to improve theirs and have not improved Gavin's. We just had Gavin's application come across the same way, and we didn't approve Gavin, so.
Annette Fuentes, Fuentes. So I have to say, it's a miracle to see you here. You don't show up at any meetings. It's very impressive. Glad to see you. Glad to see your face, see who you are. I live in Ash Meadows. I don't know who you are. So, that being said, my property is for sale. Conservation Fund has contacted and wants to do an appraisal. So, this is no secret that a while back, the refuge manager wanted to come in and put locks, gates and locks on each side of the refuge so that they would give us a key to our property so that if we had anybody, we would have to meet them at the gate and let them in. So my question is, if you happen to buy our property, are you going to lock all these people out? Because you don't own that road. That road is a county road. You only maintain it. So I'm just kind of curious what you're going to do with that. Thank you.
Would you like to answer to that, Shannon?
Yep, apologies, I wasn't sure if it was back and forth, I was just waiting till the end. So Shannon Hearn, Hurn again. So, is that better? Okay. And if I miss a few, I'm sorry. So Fish and Wildlife Service does own the property on those roads. Within the fence boundary, it's both BLM, Fish and Wildlife Service property, and private in holders. And so when we talk about purchasing or acquiring a property, it is private property that now is not accessible to the public. When it becomes under a management, then it is open as the rest of the refuge lands would be. Because there is more than 26 endemic species there, most of them plants, and like I said, 4 fish species, in 1984, they implemented a lot of rules when they said the purpose of us acquiring this property is to protect and restore those populations. And if you look at pictures when it was a farm and when it was farm ponds and when it was irrigated land and irrigation ditches, there wasn't a lot of habitat there. And I have those pictures if you would like to see them. Yeah, no. Oh, sorry, sorry, Anna, I wasn't addressing you. But so yes, if we acquire a piece of property, the road system doesn't change. What's closed now will stay closed. What's open now will stay open. So that we can provide access for the public to come and enjoy those species and see the importance of the ash meadows habitat.
The contract says none of them will be closed. The contract says all roads will be accessible for all the residents of Amargosa. It's in the contract. Now you're saying some of the roads are closed. I don't get it. I don't get it. Read your contract.
So that agreement does specifically name roads in it. So there are roads like the connection between Rogers and Fairbanks that is not listed in that agreement. So those are the ones I'm referring to. The one that goes out to Big Spring that you can still walk in, but you cannot drive. Those ones are closed and would stay closed. Like Spring Meadows Road, we wouldn't close. The road out to Peterson Reservoir and out to that property, we wouldn't close those. They'd stay open as they are now. Okay. I'm sure I missed a few points in there. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
Ann. You're going to have to pull it down too. State and spell your last name, please.
Hi, I'm Ann Bartley, B-A-R-T-L-E-Y. I've been a resident of Amargosa since 2005, and I've watched the transition of Ash Meadows. Went from a wonderful place where there was all kinds of wild things growing there, trees, fruit trees, and wild grapes, and all kinds of vegetation, and so many different species of animals. There was even an occasional deer and bighorn sheep there. We used to go swimming in Crystal Reservoir, and we had a canoe and took it out there and paddled around, and it was a great time, and a wonderful place to bring up children. It's all gone now. All the trees are gone. All the wild grapes are gone. Everything's gone. All the animals are gone. Even the migrating birds are gone. Where did they go? Where did the water go? What happened? Is this supposed to be a place where it's a sanctuary for animals and people? We can't drive on the roads without permits? What is this? I'm confused. I don't understand what's happening here. I've been a part of this community for quite a while, and I don't understand why any of this is taking place when it's supposed to be for all of us, not just the federal government, and not just for the community. It's for all of us. Where did our animals go? Where did our water go?
My name is Mark Ruth, R-O-U-X, and I live on Casada Road over here. Been a resident for a while. My blood gets boiling when we talk about Ash Meadows, because I remember when that was a really beautiful place. We used to go duck hunting there, bird hunting, fishing, boating, and I thought that was like one of the most wonderful places I've ever seen. And then I hear stories about, well, the dam's gonna blow up. Well, I built dams in my life, and bridges, and I'm very knowledgeable in these things. I was a contractor for 40 years, builder contractor. The dam is not blowing out, and then depending on which park attendant you talk to, I've got different stories like, oh, we're putting it back to natural. You know, so I get this story, the dam's blowing out, and I go, well, if the Crystal Dam's blowing out, then how come they're draining Peterson Reservoir? Is that one blowing out too? And what about the lower horseshoe? They're going to eventually blow that out too. So depending on who you talk to, you get all these different stories. And I think they just want to put it back to national because I think it's a big money scheme just to self-fund a project to keep everybody in work and making money. And, they got an $11 million visitor center. Nobody ever goes to it. You're lucky if you see 1 or 2 people at that visitor center. That thing's been sitting out there for years, and I drive through Ash Meadows all the time. So I go to Pahrump, I go that way all the time. And I live right over. It's a joke. And that visitor center belongs in an industrial park somewhere, not out here. It's completely out of place. And, it's just, as far as I'm concerned, they have ruined that refuge. It's no longer a wildlife refuge. And the hell with the pupfish. They're on their way out anyway. Why don't we just leave them alone? Nature has chosen them for extinction. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I really don't believe that. And if you're talking about the Devil's Hole pupfish, they live within a 2-foot space above a ledge. They don't even know how deep that aquifer is, how deep the whole aquifer is. So you can't tell me that if you're going to affect 2 feet of surface water, that's going to make a difference in the entire habitat. If those fish can't dive down and live in that environment, then maybe nature selected them for extinction. And I'm very much of a biologist. Believe me, I love the environment. I love plants and animals. It's just, I also like human beings, too. And like I heard somebody else say, I don't see any bighorn sheep there since they've drained the reservoirs. And then they're trying to figure out how the crystal pupfish got into the reservoir. Well, guess what? When they drained that thing down, we were out there last winter, and all the mud cracks, all these tiny little baby pupfish were cruising down from the crystal spring. They're getting into that reservoir on their own, and they have been for a long time. But the main pupfish, I've never seen them leave the springs. So I don't know how the reservoirs endanger the pupfish. I've heard that argument too. But my number one concern is the NCA. They want to annex it to Ash Meadows. And I heard something about closing off access. Is it all going to get gate off too? Because we go hunting out there, we go shooting. I've met BLM rangers out there. Oh yeah, you guys can shoot here. Just don't leave permanent targets, So that's all of our recreational land that's going to be taken away under a National Conservancy area, or a conservation area.
Okay, I'm sorry, your time's up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Victor Fuentes, Fuentes. We own the Pacho Heaven camp over there in Ash Meadows. And I remember, a lot of people been longer than I am in Ash Meadows, But the short time that I lived in Ash Meadows, that I have my property in Ash Meadows, ever since 2006, even in 2006 when we bought it, you can see the Canadian geese coming to our property, inside our property. We used to have water before they illegally and unlawfully diverted these people here. To me, and all the things that I'm going through, these people, I see them like criminals. If I come to Amargosa and illegally divert spring or river, I got to be called criminal, and they got to put me in jail. These people did it, and nothing has happened to them. Until today, I don't have my water. Last week, for 2 or 3 weeks, I don't have my water until the other day they put the water back again. And I have a senior vested water right, the only senior vested water right in the Carson Slough. They don't have any right in the Carson Slough, according to the state engineer. And when you have the senior vested water right, you are supposed to use the water first, and then whoever comes behind. In this particular case, somebody with no right, I'll deliver the water to me. They have the senior vested water right. Think about that. But, you know, furthermore, Fish and Wildlife always get what they want, you know. The state engineer gives them what they want, the federal government gives them what they want, and we never get anything. Anything. It's not, what I'm saying here tonight is, we need Crystal Reservoir back as it was before. We want to fill up with water again. That's what we want. And we want a Spring Meadow Road paved. That's what we want. So we can travel back and forth. And we want the Customs Loop return to the Pacho Heaven Camp because it's the natural flow of that water ever since it got created. You know? And what you guys have done is to destroy the refuge, something that was a beauty. I have a guy who used to work in Spring Meadow, you know, he came not too long ago, and he went to the refuge, and he said, you know, what happened over there with Crystal? And supposedly, you know, what he told me is that they told him there was a climate change. Climate change. And then he came to our camp, and he said, you are the new owner? I said, I'm the new owner. What happened here, man? This place looked like a atomic bomb dropping
Victor,
here.
I'm sorry, your 3 minutes is up.
You know? And so, I don't agree with that. Honey.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, I close public comment. I'm going to open it up for board member comments. Bobby?
Well, I've been out here since 1999, and you know, Crystal Reservoir was a great place to go. And to see them drain it to whatever needs they want, what it looks like, and you know, restrict it and make it for, if anything, people from out of the country to come see and so on, and not really for locals or even for people in this country, really. It's, you know, my wife's mom used to swim in the boardwalk pond out there. I never got to because it was already restricted when I moved to this valley, which is a huge shame. You know, I'm not about killing off animals or fishes or plants and so on, but in the same breath, there should be some even, you know, something for us, something for, you know, the animals, you know, to keep it somewhat fair, somewhat even keel. And I think we're just taking it to the extreme.
I do not know why we're even involved in this. This is a private transaction on private property. We have no say. It's on federal land. It's going to happen anyway. If you don't think it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You know, we're at the bottom of the food chain. It goes up to the county, goes up to the state, goes up to the feds. So, I mean, we're getting, I don't know why we're involved.
Brenda.
My question is, what happens if we don't approve it?
Shannon Heard again, HURN. So the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act has an executive committee, and they will look at grant proposals, and they will weigh the strength of them. And so the more support letters you have, especially local community support, state support, we have a letter from the state, the heavier they weigh that in. Oh, sorry. Want me to do it again, or did you catch any of it? Okay. So yes, if you don't do it, they will look at applications they have, and they will see what projects have support or not, and then they will weigh that into their decision.
Richard.
I'm a big supporter of fish and wildlife, but I'm really not a very big supporter for this one. I've seen the damage out there, starting with the mud dam, diverting the water. And I've been out there, Crystal, myself, taking my kids out there, cool off in the summertime, haven't been able to do that. I remember when it was nice and green and very welcoming, long before Ash Meadows even, you know, the refuge thing, they put that big community building and all this. I remember looking over there and seeing how nice and green it was. Far from what I thought of Fish and Wildlife, protecting the fish and wildlife. I really don't see that much protection out there. I'm a big fan of Fish and Wildlife. I was out there when there was ducks out there in Peterson Reservoir. Like I said, Crystal. I think I just got here just after the Ash Meadows fire out there. If it wasn't for Peterson and Crystal having water, they would never been able to fight that fire. And we had a lot more volunteers back then, and we're really low on volunteers. As much as I do appreciate our fire department, but I just see it drying up and more and more. And I agree with Mike that, you know, this is on a private sale, but, you know, I would say no on this myself. You know, I know our fish and wildlife need protection, and that's what we're supposed to have, this organization. But, and I've been on that road without having to get permission, and one of our business owners out here that had permission to be able to do that was told he couldn't. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you, Richard. When this came the first time, I was opposed to it and was very vocal about that. It's out of our lane, number one. And I think it was just, they were collecting support letters, basically. And a private sale is, like as I said, it's completely out of our lane. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do with our private property. And KMI approached them, and they made the sale to the Conservation Fund. So it's already sold to the Conservation Fund. What Fish and Wildlife is doing is asking, you know, to get the grant money to buy it back and make it part of the refuge. And I know they were looking at other parcels in the area as well. You know, I didn't live here when Ash Meadows was swimmable or whatever. I do want to ask a question of Fish and Wildlife while we're here doing this. There was something posted about radiation in the reservoir, and they were draining it because of radiation, and I know what I was told, so I'd like you to, you know, debunk that rumor or verify it, please.
Shannon Hearn, HURN. I'll try on this rumor because I'm not sure I've heard this rumor completely, but Crystal Reservoir has come up here several times, so that would be good to address. I think I'll get there, but let me know if I don't. So Crystal Reservoir, we have a letter from the state of Nevada that says that dam will not hold. And I can't go against the state of Nevada engineer. They have the authority on that. And the irrigation system.
Is that published?
There are three.
I'm sorry, is that published?
By the state of Nevada, I don't know. We've never published it, but yeah, I
well,
think
I'd
it
like
would
to see
be.
it published. If
Yep.
that's a fact.
Yeah, you can give us the letter, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's not my letter, but I'm sure the state of Nevada doesn't care. So in 2012, when they started evaluating that, they did try to put a siphon and a pump on there to address the pressure on that. That did not work for them. And meantime, the South Canal, it feels it has failed, as you've mentioned too. That irrigation ditch started pushing water to the west. So it has been drying out since 2014 when we received that letter. mainly because that irrigation ditch is failing, and we have not improved those two systems. So we went for a SNPLMA grant, Fish and Wildlife Service did, to address that dam structure, and they declined to fund the millions of dollars it would take to do that dam. And so flash forward to 2022, there's a second attempt to go and try and address that problem, which is through a restoration project. So already the springhead and the channel has been restored, and that is moving water and protecting pupfish and other wildlife habitat, and it's moving water towards the horseshoe complex and into lower marsh. So that's why those remain filled and will remain filled.
How many millions of dollars is it going to take to remove that dam and export all the spoils off the land there?
That's where we get to the question. So right now we have funding to have a contractor evaluate that and design what it would take. And they have said it is cost prohibitive. You can try and remove that entire dam structure. So you're better off to breach it and use material behind it and sample that soil and figure out what the cost is to do it. So we are in the process of conducting that evaluation, that design, and that permitting, and then we will have to go for a third grant in order to achieve it, because it will be millions of dollars.
Then why is Peterson drained too, though? Why did they drain? Divert the springs. Why drain the reservoirs at all?
Yeah, thank you. I heard you say Peterson. There is no water control structure on Peterson. We don't have the ability. There is a berm there.
Yeah.
So we haven't directed water from Peterson out in any way. I think it looks dry because it's so cattail, Phragmites, and bulrushed in.
But if they're going to blow the dam out with machinery, why not just let the reservoir fill up and let the reservoir blow it out itself? What harm is it going to cause? Then they can just go clean it up.
So we're talking about Crystal Reservoir or
Yeah.
Peterson Reservoir?
Crystal
Yeah, Crystal Reservoir. So back to Crystal Reservoir. Yeah, that.
I'm just trying to use my common sense as a builder. You know, it's like, because I've been told that it's going to blow out. Well, let it blow out. There's nobody downstream. The water's not going to go anywhere.
That is not what the state engineer has said. They said it is a high hazard dam that you can't control the water on. And if you got the right monsoon season and that filled and blew out, you would see that water in Death Valley Junction and crossing that highway very quickly. So I do hear you on like the lowest cost.
I just think it's an excuse. I call them dam busters. And what I've been told is that they just want to put it back to natural. It has nothing to do with the dam. And that was other park attendants that told me that. So my response was, well, why don't we put Lake Mead back to natural too while we're at it? You know what I mean? There's a series of people in this, the big dam busters that they want to rip all the dams out. So what's the importance?
It is something you have to consider as they age. And that dam was built in 1970. So we have to do something, right, with this infrastructure, whether it's Crystal Reservoir or anything else. You have to analyze and determine what's the best, safest way to do it.
I just would have left the whole place alone. I don't see the reason to try to manage it, because all those years I've seen these pupfish, they don't leave the springs. I think it's an excuse to get grants for millions of dollars, just like that visitor center they built over there, which is an $11 million monstrosity, which has no business being on that refuge, and nobody goes to it. And I think it's a government boondoggle, and I think it's a money laundering operation, and I think that's a big part of it out there, is they want to keep, we got to put it back to natural. And then another ranger told me they're going to put miles of new hiking trails, and it's like, all the sportsmen, all the people that have enjoyed this place for many, many years, we don't want to come out here to go hiking.
So sorry, Mr. Lemus, just
I don't know.
Real quick on that. I will make the offer, because I've heard tonight, you would like to see what we are doing at that refuge and what our counts are. I mean, we have antelope on the refuge, we have bighorn sheep on the refuge, we do survey and count them. It's nice to hear in your own backyard those populations are doing well. So if you would like me to come back, I can do a presentation on what we're doing at the refuge and what we have at the refuge.
Every time I try to meet somebody out there in Ash Meadows, they never seem to want to talk about it.
Oh, and I also want to say, if I confuse anyone with the public can access those roads. They are open and accessible. It is commercial traffic. When you got the double belly dumps coming through, that we would like to have a conversation. I just want to clarify that.
They stopped residential as well. Amargosa got stopped going through residential at night. Mr. Goodhart got stopped going there and let his dogs outrun. They're stopped
sergeants or whoever's over there for the record. But the only thing I wanted to say is, did you think about contacting the Army Corps of Engineers? They can send out somebody that actually gives you a written Army Corps engineering a complete report on that dam. That's something rather than a letter that somebody says they're sitting in Carson City, they draft a letter, they send it to you, you destroy our whole reservoir over it. Why don't we actually get an engineer report from the Army Corps of Engineers and then look at that report, study it, and go from that point forward? That's the way I would do it.
Sure, and we do have a report.
Okay.
They did come out and evaluate. It was the state, not Army Corps of Engineers.
Right.
When we go for the permitting and the design, we do have to take it to Army Corps of Engineers and have them sign off that yes, that will successfully mitigate the risk here on this high hazard dam.
Can we go back to the question about radiation?
Yeah, so the bottom of that reservoir needs to be tested. It has been accumulating water off that refuge, and you know there were commercial practices on that refuge, farming and other stuff that probably put something in that refuge. So part of our funding will go to testing that soil and determining how do you remediate if there is problem soil there.
So is the radiation in the soil?
So I have not heard that there's been any testing that's shown radiation. Again, I'm sorry, I haven't heard these rumors. I don't exactly know how to nail it
I
down,
was
but
given that report. I think you're talking about me, by the way. I was given that report by the historical preservation officer representing the Shoshone-Timbisha tribe. And they said they had a report, there's radiation in there, and that's what concerns them, that you're dumping it, because now you just dumped all that water over our basin 230. So I think somebody needs to stop what they're doing, assess that. First thing is to contain the contaminant. You don't disperse it into the community. That's just not going to work either way, just for the record. Thank you. But I'd love to have that meeting if you ever get a chance to call me back.
I will call you back. Yes, I did get your message today. Thank you.
We have set up meetings and people didn't show, but let's make that letter public. And,
The
you know,
state engineer report?
the state of engineer, and then what follows that and what the protocol is. Okay? I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to close public comment. You've already had public comment, so I'm sorry, it's only one. I'm sorry.
This is very important.
I...
All of the managers that I have been in touch with ever since I moved to Ashmeadow since 2006, every one of them has said they want to drain the reservoir because they are man-made. Okay? And then Sharon McKelvey, who was the first manager when I first bought the property, she said, Peterson, who was draining Peterson, but Dr. Limited, don't ask the court if we have to stop draining it. So
Okay.
it's not because the dam and this and that. And then, Peterson, I saw with my own eyes, and I have picture of it.
Okay.
When they was breaking the dam, with the excavator in the back. And now the water goes out in a different
Well, there's a Freedom of Information Act, and so let's use that. Okay, thank you. I'm going to close public comment. And I'm going to, we have a motion. I need a motion first.
I'll make a motion that we deny this request from the Fish and Wildlife for our support.
And can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'm going to call for the vote. All right. Let's get those records out and get it to the public. Squash some of the rumors and maybe we can move forward. But again, the Conservation Fund owns that property and this is completely out of our lane. It's private property. And so if anybody wants to sell their private property in that refuge to the Conservation Fund or anybody, it's none of our business. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Next is possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or approve or deny approval of the minutes. Boy, we waited to the last. That's good. For July 23rd, 2026. I didn't see any problems with it. Anybody?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the July 23rd, 2026 meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Number 12, for possible action, discussion and deliberation to approve, amend, approve, or deny scheduling an Amargosa Valley Town Hall regarding Ash Meadows National Conservation Area with a map, September 22nd, 2026. I make a motion that we approve the scheduling of a town hall regarding the Ash Meadows National Conservation Area with a map, September 22nd, 2026. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'm going to open it for public comment.
At what time is it?
6:30.
Hi, folks. Okay, my name's Connie Thompson, Thompson, and thank you for, I requested that map. Is this the same one? And can you show about the residents and all that in there? Is this the one that you're taking to the town hall? And
Yeah, it'll show at the town hall.
Okay.
It's done. It's just, what we said we would do, because that was just a drawing, a concept, an overall area. But all of the corridors are taken out, all Little Nevada's completely taken out, everything, all the way down 373 is taken out.
So it's going to show exactly what they're wanting and where it's going to be, exactly, not the whole thing.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ed Goodhart, last name Goedhart. I just haven't been to a lot of these meetings, but I'm hearing some, if it's true, some troubling lack of following due procedures. I heard that this town board first voted to approve in concept the expansion and the creation of a national conservation area without having formal public scoping meetings. Then they went before the Nye County Board of Commissioners where that was brought up, or actually was approved because they thought you folks had gone through the right process. They approved it, but then it was brought up to the commissioners that they had not followed that process, and they voted to put it on hold. So I was just looking here. I am a former 3-term Nevada State Assemblyman, and I realize that when you make these decisions, it has to follow a very set protocol. And under Nevada's open meeting law, a public body cannot vote to pass an action item and then schedule a public scoping or input meeting afterward to retroactively justify or vet that decision. It violates the prior deliberation and public notice under NRS 241-020. It also precludes meaningful public input. The OML, open meeting law, is designed to ensure that public business is conducted openly and that citizens have a meaningful opportunity to be heard before a decision is made, not after a fait accompli has been voted on. Also, reversal is not retroactive validation. Passing an item and then trying to fix the lack of public scoping later invalidates the core transparency requirement. Deliberations and fact gathering must precede the ultimate decision, not follow it. So for you guys, we'll have to do a complete reset and go back to the very beginning after the public scoping and then approve the motion to explore the NCA before you go further down this process. You've already made a wrong detour. It might have been done because you didn't know the law, but now you've been made aware of it, and now will be a willful violation after you've been notified. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
guys for having me this evening. Paul Lemus, Lemus, Nevada licensed real estate agent 47810. Where do I start? Our property is owned by our family, and when this first came up at the planning department, our planning committee reviewed it. They got maps, unlike what was said at meetings after, they never saw maps. That's incorrect. Planning committee got maps on the record and the backup. They suggested removing all of the private property owners from the map. Then they mentioned, yes, the Conservancy and other advocates for the Conservancy. That would be completed. Then, a couple days later, it goes to Nye County. As an agenda item, an action item to start the process of exploring the Conservancy. This was just an exploratory effort at that point. We still have never approved any action on behalf of moving forward with the Conservancy. The important facts that we need to remember is if we represent ourselves in our official capacity at other meetings claiming that this is already passed by our people and our board, we're again breaking open meeting law completely, with complete disregard to the law and rules. At that meeting, when we finally held it, after they approved it on May 5th, then June 11th, 36 whatever days later, we went ahead and then the subject came up again. Now this is the public scoping meeting. 6 no's, 3 yeses. At that point, it's no. Why are we still making agenda items and moving forward on something that was a concept? It looks like somebody here on this board has adopted the concept and become an advocate for the program rather than for the tax-paying people of Nye County, which is us. We're the taxpayers. We're the landowners. We're the affected ones. I've heard people make comment, oh, it's very few people that'll be affected. They're on the other side of the highway. Well, guess what? I'm one of those people. And over my dead body, my land, my property rights aren't going anywhere. I don't care how many of you try to badger me online. You're not going to talk me out of it. I'm standing up for my property. I'm standing up for my people. And anybody that wants to step on my toes can deal with repercussions in court, because I'm done playing games. Now it's time to protect my family's estate. It's time to give my kids what's coming to them, which is a nice property that we've been working on and trying to hold on to for years, despite several attacks that are on record, from federal court cases all the way down to approved projects that have been diverted. You've used this board to weaponize the system against one resident that you should have thought first about, Paul Lemus.
Thank you, Mr. Lemus. That's 3 minutes. Okay. Cindy.
Cindy Bedient, B-E-D-I-E-N-T. I stuck my foot in my mouth about a month ago. And so I did make up some posters and print them out there at the 150 people. So they would know what's going on. Just saying.
Yeah, I got, they were canvassing and somebody called me. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I know who that was probably. But I just want everybody to know what's going on so they can put their word in and say what they want. I'm not saying go for it or don't go for it, just be aware of what's going on, what might happen to the properties if we're locked in, because we blocked into the NCA. And I think that if they're going to do NCA out there, they should give so many miles out away from the community so we can have our backyard and we can go out and play without being restricted. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Anybody else for public comment? Trevor, or Jessica, get mine.
D as
Jessica's got the same thing to say. Put my name down for that Dark Skies Committee.
Oh, yeah, this is public comment. We're still on 12, sorry.
Yeah,
Jessica.
We're still on 12?
Yes, we're still on 12.
Me and
Yep.
Jessica Cattermas, is this better, Connie? Is this better? Do you want me to get really close? Because I can. Jessica Cattermas Waldauer, Kadrmaswalthur.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this meeting. I'm excited to see what the map is. I'm very looking forward to seeing what information is available and what is going to actually be there. I've been doing my own things about this, so I'm excited to move forward with it. But that's just me.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Are we done? Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. And can I get a motion? Let's put it that way.
I'll make a motion that we set the date of September 22, 2026 at 6:30 for a town hall on the National Conservation Area.
Can I get a second?
Wait a minute. Wasn't the agenda item on the map of the conservation area?
It's the whole town hall.
No.
Town hall, includes the map, everything, at the town hall.
It's not mapping it.
Isn't the word map in the agenda item, I thought?
Yes.
Okay, I would just suggest to make the motion like that. So it's
Read
not
it
misunderstood.
as
Since we have-
stated in the agenda.
So I will restate my motion. I make a motion that we approve scheduling a town board meeting regarding Ash Meadows National Conservation Area and map.
September 26th.
On September 22, 26th at 6:30.
And that's a town hall.
At town hall.
Okay. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, call for the vote?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, number 13, general public comment up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. Opening up public comment. Diane.
Diane Brigham, B-R-I-G-H-A-M. I want to thank Francisco for a wonderful presentation, and I want to thank the board for the presentation equipment. It's such an improved projector in the screen. Thank you.
Capital projects. Thank you.
I'll be quick.
Darrell Wade, W-A-D-E. I want to thank Mr. Goodhart for all of his information tonight. I think he did a great job on that, informing the community and helping us out here. Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Board member comments. This item is limited to announcements, topics proposed for future workshops and agendas. Who wants to go first? Bobby.
None at this time.
Okay, Mike. Richard.
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for coming out. It's been a long night, and thank you for your opinions.
Brenda.
I have nothing.
Okay. I have some things. First of all, I'm going to address Emma Veladors because she asked us to here. I can speak for myself. She says, I am kindly requesting that my comments be recorded. It's been brought to the attention that non-disclosure agreements have been signed by the Amargosa Town Board members. It was stated and witnessed by community members that were present at a town board meeting that you signed a non-disclosure agreement with solar data center companies. This violates several NRS codes. We are giving you the opportunity right now to come forward at this moment and acknowledge that you signed an NDA with solar and data center companies. And they are requesting the Freedom of Information Act, which I'm glad they are. You have the opportunity to come forward. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I have never, nor I would, sign an NDA. We have been working with these solar companies through the auction since 2022, because they're auction parcels, and even during the moratorium, because we're in ground zero. I have never signed an NDA. And I welcome any Freedom of Information Act, because you're not going to find anything. And so, then second of all, I've been watching all these projects, all 18 of them, very carefully, because we are on public land, and the 95, some of these are huge projects, 10,000 acres, 8,000 acres. So recently, I caught the Amber project, which is on 95 in Valley View. It was an 8,000 plus acre solar project. And they went behind us without our knowledge and amended it to a data center, a hyperscale data center. And I caught them. And we scooped it with the national media, and then we met with them the next day. And I called them out on it because they have another couple projects. And I said, you know, this isn't how we do business. This isn't how we work here. Because we have been sitting here, even when there were moratoriums, we've been working with everybody. And just to be straightforward, straight talk. And I said, you need to withdraw this. And they did. They withdrew it. And they withdrew it within 48 hours, and I had all the paperwork from BLM. So to say that we do or don't want data centers, I don't want hyperscale data centers that are going to impact our neighborhoods. You know, Daryl Wade's neighborhood, Diane Brigham's neighborhood, and it's going to impact all of us. That's 8,000 acres. It comes and it connects with another solar project. So we're watching very carefully, and we have been for several years. And like I said, we're not going to sign any NDAs. We're not going to let them sneak the camel's nose under the tent, okay? Because we have no choice but to deal with these people because they are on federal land, and federal supremacy will trump, no pun intended, everything that the state has. It'll trump on the NRSs. It'll trump any ordinance that we write or the county writes. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. So that's why we've been sitting there with every single project that comes through and let them know what we can tolerate, what we can't tolerate, and we've made great progress. The dairy project, for example, we worked very hard for several years on that, and I'm excited because it's disturbed land. You know, it's something that's already not worthy, you know, of any kind of inhabitable whatever. So solar fits there. It fits perfectly there. But they scaled it way back because of our negotiations. And again, that doesn't create NDAs. So, and I've never stated, never, that and if anybody witnessed that, I would like them to come up and say that on public record, that they said that they saw it, that they witnessed it, or that anybody said it, because it's not true, okay? And then, as Daryl Wade said, you know, there's a lot of different data centers, and that's true, and some may fit here. And that's why we have to look at an ordinance, because a ban doesn't work here. It just flat out doesn't work here, and I don't think it's going to work in Pahrump. And if you were paying attention to the VOCC, it was started out that it was a ban for the PRPD, the Basin 162, and any area in the county that did not have a town elected board. Well, here we are. We're an elected board. And so I spoke to that. You know, we're members of the county. We don't sometimes feel like that. But we have worked very hard because we have no choice. Like I said, we are ground zero. But we have not said no to anything that makes sense, you know, but if it just doesn't make any sense and it's going to come down to the center of town and it's going to impact everybody, we're going to try to make it go away and go back to solar, because that just, you know, that we can tolerate. But, so that's what I have to say about that. And I appreciate Ms. Velador bringing this, putting it on the record, and asking it to be addressed. So it's with pleasure that I address that. We support Balance Rock. Anybody that's come here, they have come to the board, they've given presentations, and we've supported these presentations, and we've given letters of support, but nobody's signed an NDA. All right. For possible action, set date and time for next September 24th, 2026, the board meeting at 6:30 p.m. I make a motion that we set it for September 24th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, call for the vote.
Aye.
Okay. This meeting